recording. Okay. So for this one, I'll talk about the on-campus non-compulsory practical that I talked a little bit on during the assessment lecture. Okay. So the purpose of this one is straightforward. Okay. Last semester, when the COVID hit us a few weeks into the semester, we really scrambled, tried to get online, and then one of the casualties that last semester one that this unit is offered launches and student really didn't have access to this device at all, okay, because at that time it was really not allowed. Okay, this time it have more has freedom, has not freedom, but has more opportunity, and the university, our college of science and engineering put out a call a few months, about a month ago, a few weeks ago. I applied that I want to have a practical, and it was approved. So as far as I know, in ICT, I'm the only unit running this on campus. We got approval for the on campus, so we are somewhat very lucky. And then, but it's also very complicated. Okay, so very complicated setup. So therefore, you need to pay attention to them. If you haven't been on campus, I would imagine if you haven't really been on campus for the actual activity, would be quite a new experience for you. Okay. So the idea here is to provide students with hands-on experience. Okay. So that means you can now you can put on a VR headset, you can put on AR headset, you can see how your program runs from Unity and port into that. Okay. However, practical session, we only limited them to 1 hour. That's limitation. Okay. So they don't want any session longer than 1 hour. Okay. To minimize the chance of the COVID thing. Second point here is that not to replace the normal. So normal go as usual. And the schedule avoid all those. Okay. So when we get to schedule, you will become clear. And then, but hands-on practical, it doesn't mean you have to do the assignment with those devices. You can go and do the basic, like AR, you can just do a basic webcam or simple Android device. Or and a VR, you can just do a Unity. You don't need to port the device. The practical are separate. However, practical is simply get you to play with device in that practical session. However, if you opt not to do a practical, which again, I repeat a few times, that it won't affect your mark. Okay, yeah, it won't affect your mark. If you opt not to come to practical, you will not be eligible to check out the device for your assignment. Okay, so that is the only implication here. So that means you're not come to practical, you just don't have a choice. We will not let you check out the device. Okay. We'll talk about the checkout at the very end. So we'll talk about the practical first. Okay. So the schedule here, okay, there's 2 practical sessions. So in your Aliquid Plus, both of them built into one. So if you chose week 5, Monday, 1 p.m., it will come with, oh, this shouldn't be week 8. Sorry, this should be week 8. It should come with week 8 altogether. So it is a bundle between 5 and 8, 5 and 8. Okay. So so that's, I will travel from my home base here in Newnham, and then go to that on Monday morning. Okay, and stay there for the whole event. Okay. So in each session is limited to only 10 students. Okay, and me even 11 people. Okay, in that lab. Okay, which it has 24, 25 computer. Okay, and in those labs, if you haven't been there, there was we used 2 labs. Okay, one is 139, which is currently being one of that generalized lab that people go and play with it. So you will see a COVID sign on it. Okay, so we're only allowed to sit on the one that kind of has connecting point, allowed to still run. And but the other lab that will be used heavily as well is another games lab upstairs on the 3rd floor, Centennial 369. Okay, so, and that would be the same thing. It's being processed of being request to do a COVID safe procedure this week. So that should be ready for us by next week. Okay. So this one, This is a group one, okay? We just call them the group. So this first three, okay? The one that go into the AR stuff this week, okay? And the group two, which is the one that go to the VR stuff this week, okay? So that's the tutorial Wednesday onward, okay? Allocate Plus, this is what I send out a message all the weekends. It's available for selection. Because I take ages to work with the time tailoring people to try to come up with those potential lists. But the reason it's not available at this time because we're going to be launch it at 4 p.m. altogether. So people who put in the wait list, this is not really a wait list because one, we lift that because right now we just make it unavailable. Yeah, so I think that's a technical term for that. So this just appear to because one, we lift that less restriction at 4 p.m. today. Everyone will be available to go in, and the wait list will not be automatically moved into the selection. So that means you have to be there at 4 to do this. Okay, wait list will have no impact at all. Okay, so just if you put a wait list, that's okay, but just make sure after 4 today, you go and select the session. So this is a table for group one. Okay, so the group, did I get right? Yes, the group one. Yes, so the first three, so Monday and Tuesday tutorial. Okay, so there was a total of, oh, this one I should put, sorry about this. So this one, it should be on the reserve. So the total of each two tutorials has about 5, but we are reserve number last one here, just in case that not many people, not all students coming in. Okay. So each one of them, so we assume about half, so about 50 something students. So we should be able to fit, if 4 is not enough, then we open the last one here up for everyone to go. So the demo X here, you will go to a demo Y, which is the AR, okay? So plus in week 5, and you go to the demo X in week 8, okay? So I run the same thing, but the two different things. So this one is really practical in those weeks, okay? If that makes sense. So the time slot here, you can see here, the complication here is that we have 1 hour, but it's come with 1 hour cleaning. So this one is professional cleaning of the room. That means that when we finish, for example, at 11, for example, in this first slot, we have to get out of there as quickly as possible. And the cleaning, professional cleaning people will come and clean all the surface, okay, from 11 to 12. And that's when we come back at 12. Okay, so that's the next session coming in. Okay, so it's a very tight time frame. So therefore, 1 hour here, probably I would say is that just a COVID related stuff is going to take us about 10 minutes in and out. Okay, so I mean we have 50, and we're probably down to 45 the actual. So probably spend 25 familiar with the device, turn it on, and look at them, play with it, things like that. The good things about this is that for VR device, we only have 10 students. So each one of you will have one. Unlike the normal tutorial that we run before COVID, they have to share. Some of them they have to share because we have 25 students. We only have 13. We just recently purchased it last semester. We didn't use it. So now we have 13 Oculus Quest, okay, and we have a bunch of Oculus Rift, the old one, but we run only the Quest, so that each one of them will have one. However, the tricky part is on AR groups because we only have 4 HoloLens, okay, but we have a bunch of mobile phones, so they're going to be juggling within the session. So the idea here is to get you to get hands-on component, but really not teach you how to to build per se. We'll have a standard default building that available on Milo before the practical session that you just have to open, recognize the device, deploy the device, and nothing else because the time will run out before that. So you will hopefully get the chance to build your own app, really not your own, but build something from your computer to the device to show you, okay, this is possible, and then you can take it further from there. Okay. All right, so this one, the group 1. Okay, so as you can see here, the group 1 here, okay, there's a bit of issues for this one. Okay. The first one of this group which is on Tuesday from 10 to 11, which should conflict with the Tuesday tutorial people at 9. So that means these Tuesday at 9 a.m. need to only select here, but there's no problem at all. We can always open this up when the whole thing fill. Okay, so hopefully we have enough. For the group 2, okay, which is later in the week group, okay, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So they go first. So as I said before, I will drive here Monday morning, get there around noon, and then start the first session here. Okay, and all the way Monday. The last session we put on reserve is on the day 8 a.m. in the morning. Okay, so the next day on Tuesday. So if the 4 here is not enough, then we'll open the reserve one. The lab is in the back here, Centennial, 2 games lab, and you can see here, okay, 369, 369, 139, 139. Okay, that's the same with previous group. Okay, so hopefully I will have a trolley that have all the gear. I will carry them around from session to session. Okay. Any questions so far? I mean, you can speak if that's quicker. All right, so the last couple of slides here is really about you have to do your homework before you come to COVID, or before you come to practical, because this is mandatory. Okay, even though you're going to be allocated, you can find yourself be able to allocate to Allocate Plus. You will not be allowed to enter into the practical unless you complete this. Okay, so there's a 2 module. First one is more cell and well-being induction. So this is generally a general, not specifically COVID. Okay, but college has asked students that start to return to some approved activity like us to do this. Okay, so there are 2 modules here, and then another module is COVID. Okay, once you complete this module, they will have to ask you to pass the test of that module, which it shouldn't be too difficult. Okay, so they should be relatively simple. And then once you complete it on your Milo, you can use that link. They will send you a certificate, and the certificate you need to pass it to me before the practical. Okay, so that means is that later this week I will set up what we call 0% weight assessment. Okay, it will show up under assessment as part of this COVID and learning module. Okay, that you are supposed to upload it, your certificate there. Okay, and what I'll try to do, the reason I have to set up later in the week so that it's actually I can finalize the allocation in Allocate Plus first. So therefore, this way I will create these submissions specific to each of the practical sessions. Let's say Monday 1 p.m. I know precisely who enroll into that. Then I only make those people who will submit directly into that folder. So that means when the time next week when I see that, I'll look at this one. If you are not inside that folder, that means you are not allowed to get in. So that's going to be very strict and serious. So don't treat them like back to normal, okay? Because then that could be a problematic, okay? And then that means this, to summarize, you just have to these 2 things: submit the COVID certificate to Milo, hopefully by Friday, and then creating go through the health screen station. The good thing here is that one of the station in the Sandy Bay is sit at the base of the elevator in the middle that's the middle of the Centennial, at the base of the Centennial building, where you normally would get on the elevator just before the 2 buildings connect. So that's on the stick in the middle. That's what I told. I haven't been to Sandy Bay in the COVID. So, but that's where I think you expect to get that. So you should get the sticker like this. Yes, like this. Yes. I'm not sure what Sandy Bay look like stickers. So, but once you pass that, you check your temperature. The health screening station. It's a cell induct. Okay, so I mean you walk there. There was a little reading temperature. So you stand where the spot, and if they check that the temperature is good, they turn green. And then if you have the prox card, then you scan your prox card next to it, and that's it. And then you grab the sticker and then put it on, and then go there. So as far one thing is that when you go and then you come to the session, to the rooms, and then that's when I will cross check all your certificate. Okay, if everything is signed. That's why there was a lead time in that 1 hour. We have to spend at least 5 to 10 minutes about this COVID stuff. And remember that also within the session, which outside of this COVID, we need to do the cleaning, okay, of the device itself. Okay, assuming the surface had been cleaned by the university with those 1 hour clean, professional clean, the device itself is actually need to be cleaned before you use and after you use. Okay, so I will prepare for that session. So it should be relatively not too tedious, yeah, but it will take some time. So therefore, within that 1 hour, we probably only have about 40 minutes with the actual device and things like that. So just be, but it should allow you to take the experience further of this unit. Okay. So with that, I think that would be all. Okay. Is there any question on the practical? So with Allocate Plus of the practical, if you all can attend, it's only 40 students, but we have 106 students. So make sure that you try to sort them out later today after it's available for selection at 4. So that hopefully can try to finalize all the allocation of the practical by tomorrow. Okay, and then we can move from there. Okay. In the meantime, just make sure you spend time with this unit, the module on Milo. It's only take a few minutes, I think. It's just keep a distancing, things like that. And yeah. And one thing that is not on slide yet is checkout device. Okay, checkout device here, as I said before, the checkouts only can be available for you if you are past this one. Okay, if you've gone to the practical, the way to do this, because we only have 13 Oculus Quest. I don't know how many people interested in check out the Rift. Okay, but that is not enough. Even we divide the tutorials, so that's only half. So it's about 50 people going to be doing the VR. Okay, 50 people going to be at AR at one time, and we have only 3 HoloLens to go to check out. Okay, and then we have about 8 Pixel phone available to check now. But the Pixel phone here, I would encourage you to try to use your own phone first, because if you use your Android phones are relatively recent, less than 2 years, you should be able to do it, and then that's much easier. So you don't have to deal with how to move the device around. And when we check out the device here, unlike before COVID, where we have a really quick turnaround time, maybe a couple of days you need to return it. But in this case, once you checked out in week 5, you just have to return after the end of assignment. So that means if you check out, I'll make it available the device after the tutorial, after the practical. So the practical is next Monday and Tuesday. I cannot loan the device out during that time, because otherwise I would not have enough device to run within the practical session. However, therefore the device will be available from Wednesday onward. And then therefore that's week 5. Okay, but you don't need to return until you finish your assessments. So that's Monday, week 7. So you just return sometime before the end of week 7. And after week 7 is semester break. So most likely you have to return before semester break hit. So they get to prep the device so that it's checked out device are complete, ready for the second practical session in week 8, a week after the semester break, second week of September. Okay, so hopefully you get the idea. Now, the one issue here, anyone here come for the, because we now try to sort out, remember that I think this session here currently it's only have 10 students, I think, because a lot of students want to move it to this one, okay, Thursday at noon. Okay, I haven't really finalized this one because the number are problematic. Okay, because right now the Thursday one, if everyone got their wish, including one you already on allocate to this Thursday 12, and the people that want to move here, you could end up with 24, 25 students. The cap is only 18. Most of the session in our 6 tutorials are okay, except the Thursday 12 and and I think it's the Tuesday 9 a.m. Tuesday is about 10, 12. Okay, this one is actually somewhere around 22 to 24. So that means that if you really don't have, oh, not this one, sorry, Thursday. Yeah. If you really don't have to be on Thursday at noon, but it's just your preference, is more convenient, I would encourage you to go back to your original session, okay? Because you're gonna have a problem with the tutorial later on as the device start to go out and things like that. So you will find that the class is too crowded. 18 is, I think, considered as a maximum. That's what we use as a base from our experience with online last semester. Um, but this year, but this time I think it's too much. Okay, it's 24, 25. You end up with a lot of people in that space. Okay, I would encourage you to not move. Okay, I will go through the request that each of you have provided. Okay, and if you have no strong reason or any conflict in your class, I would not grant the switch in the tutorial. Okay, but if you, so that means if you have sent me email already, if you have a good evidence or strong evidence that you should be switched, then please send it. Send it to me so I can try to accommodate as much as I can. Otherwise, I just have to decline all those requests that has no strong justification or supporting for that, and so that will keep the Thursday one as more manageable. Yes. Just go back and look at your request that you sent to me in early semester. Yeah. There's question, do we allow work with a different group in the site? Yes. This one we relax now because in assignment 4 here, you don't have to be in the same tutorial session to do the same group work. Okay. This one we relax it, so allow you to move. You can be within those any class as long as you have some component to work during the group assignment. Okay. Preferably you group within your session, but that's not it's not a restriction, so you can have multiple. So therefore, you can do it in different tutorial. Hopefully, that would help. Not to everyone know each other will come in the same session. And also think about this as also when we run the practical session, we don't want group 1 or group 2 to be heavily loaded because the session are divided by half. Okay, so therefore we might run out of space before that. Okay, so the last slide is not working. Let me check. Oh, it's working. You're talking about this slide, right? I just checked. It's working. Yeah. Can you check again? Yeah, I think you just have to on the power, or maybe I need to go back and look at the PDF. I should click it on my PowerPoint. It's working fine, but I'll double check all those. Okay. All right. So hopefully that's all for today. Any questions or anything related to this? I'll stop.